Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lemon Live at 5, the Don Lemon Show. We're so glad that you're here today. We have so much to talk about. Oh, my gosh. I'm going to say it's the end of democracy. But you can disagree with me if you want. But I'm going to explain to you why I believe that. And then I'm going to talk to someone who can check me on it and who would know. An amazing reporter from Axios is going to join us in just a little bit. He's a fantastic new book out that goes behind the scenes of the Trump administration. So you're going to want to stick around. And then our legends are on. We're going to get to hear from real folks today. But take a deep breath. Let me know where you're watching us from. You're streaming yourself. And then here we go. So good evening. Welcome to the show. We are streaming tonight. We come on with breaking news. Quoting now from the New York Times, okay? A federal judge in Washington has denied a request by the Trump administration to cancel a hearing this evening. During this stream, we may get some news from what is happening at a court hearing. So producers, keep me honest, okay? So a judge in Washington, federal judge, denied a request by the Trump administration to cancel a hearing this evening where he planned to press lawyers about whether officials violated his order barring the deportation of any detained non-citizens, okay, including several suspected Venezuelan gang members with little or no due process. This is important. Pay attention. In a brazen display of defiance, the Justice Department had filed papers less than 2 hours before the 5 p.m. hearing was to be held and told the judge, James E. Boasberg, that there was no reason for anyone to come to court because the administration was not going to provide any further information about the deportation flight. There is no need for them, the Trump folks, to come to court after a judge has ordered them to come to court. They're saying they're not going to show up. There's no need for them to show up. Okay? Because the government is not prepared to disclose any further national security or operational security details to plaintiffs or the public, the court should vacate the hearing scheduled for this afternoon. Lawyers for the Justice Department wrote on the administration's behalf. The government does not make this request lightly. In another remarkable move, the Justice Department wrote a letter to the federal appeals court that sits over Judge Boasberg, asking to remove him from the case entirely, given what department lawyers describe as his highly unusual and improper procedures. Now you see why I say that it's the end of democracy. The two government filings came on a day of extraordinary resistance to the court by the administration, which has said that it has not violated Judge Boasberg's order stopping the flights, but also that he had no authority to issue it in the first place. So this sets the stage for a death match between the executive branch and the judiciary. A constitutional crisis, perhaps? Are we even a democracy anymore? I don't think so. But I'm going to ask my next guest. I'm so happy to have Alex Isenstadt here. He is a senior political reporter for Axios. He is also the author of a brand new bombshell of a book. It's called Revenge, the Inside Story of Trump's Return to Power. Alex, hello.
Thanks for having me, Don.
So do we have a democracy anymore? What the hell's going on?
Well, here's what's happening, which is that you have President Trump feels arguably more emboldened this time around as president than he did last time. He is getting pushback on tariffs from other countries, from fellow Republicans. He's getting pushback from the judicial system on immigration now, and he's plowing forward. You are seeing a president that right now feels very emboldened, far more emboldened than he did during his first term. He doesn't have to run for re-election again, and he feels like he has a lot of political capital and he's cashing in right
now. Because you said he doesn't have to run. I don't think he's going to leave. But I mean, still, yes, I'm sure he believes all of that. He's emboldened, but emboldened enough to defy a federal judge, to defy federal judges who, by the way, have reinstated federal workers, who have said that you can't, right, you reinstate some of the funding and you can't be deporting migrants or immigrants. And still they're saying we can do what we want. we're the executive branch. They're not even paying attention to the legislative branch. Now they're defying the judicial branch. I mean, prove me wrong, Alex. I'm just saying, I don't think we're in a democracy anymore.
There is no question that this administration is taking a very aggressive posture towards judges who rule against them. You've seen Elon Musk go out on social media and said judges should be impeached, right? And then you have what happened last week when Trump goes to the DOJ, which is an agency that the White House typically, as its custom is kept, the White House keeps within arm's length, and Trump goes and gives what many people view as a political speech. So you are definitely seeing the blurring between the White House and the judicial system in a way that you haven't seen before. Trump clearly sees the judicial system as a barrier, and he's trying to run through it at this point.
Yeah, and look, it should be no surprise, I think. Well, it is a surprise that he's going this far, but he's always used the judicial system, you know, in his businesses, right? He sued a lot of folks in a lot of court cases. Okay, listen, if you're just joining us, we are streaming live with Alex Isenstadt, who is an amazing reporter from Axios and has a new book out called Revenge, in the inside story of Trump's return to power. He's talking to us about the news of the day first. So make sure you hit the thumbs up and the likes. It affects the algorithm, and more people get to become aware of our channel and our conversation. They get to talk to me and Alex, or become aware of me and Alex, and also what we're doing here. So make sure you do that. Thank you so much. Membership link is in the top of the chat. Okay, I want to play some of what was said today, Alex, and then get your response. This is Tom Homan, who is, you know, quote unquote, the border czar, saying, hey, we don't give a crap about judges here.
Promise to the American people. The President Trump has made a promise to American people. We're going to make this country safe again. I wake up every morning loving my job because I work for the greatest president in the history of my life, and we're going to make this country safe again. I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
Yeah. I just love seeing you going through these protesters just crunching on the apple as their liberal tears just flood the hallway. Tom Homan, thanks so much for joining the program.
You got it. Thank you.
Oh my God. I want to barf, but go ahead, Tom. What do you think of that? They don't care about judges. And just because he's saying, just because we believe that this is making Americans safe, the law does not matter here.
Yeah, look, I mean, rhetorically, this is a White House that feels like they ran on immigration, that they ran on a hardline immigration stance, and they feel like they can push forward. Now, here's the question. The question is when they start getting pushback from judges, what happens then? And that's where we're at right now.
Well, they're asking that this judge be removed. Also, this is Caroline Leavitt today being asked about Trump and the Trump folks criticizing judges. Here it is.
So on Friday, the president suggested at length that it should be illegal to criticize judges, but he has repeatedly criticized judges who rule against him, and Elon Musk is calling for impeachment of judges who have opposed the administration. So how are those two things not in conflict?
I have not heard the president talk about impeaching judges. I know you mentioned Mr. Musk's tweet, but I have not heard the president of the United States ask that. Mary.
As I said, get rid of judges. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, can you imagine if a Democratic president or any other president, any other leader would be doing this in the United States? What do you think the response would be, especially that, you know, she's saying Elon Musk, she's heard mentioned. I did not see that tweet, so I can't vouch for it. But Elon Musk is a non-elected person who is now saying that judges should be impeached.
Well, look, in some ways, this is a continuation of what we've seen for the last 4 years, if you think about it, right? You look at what happened after January 6th, Trump made it very clear that he wanted to run against a judicial system that and this is something that I talk about in my book, right? But that he wanted to run against a judicial system that was very much aligned against him. And you've seen a major focus in his first few weeks of office of a purge of the DOJ, of the FBI, of anyone who is involved in investigations surrounding January 6th. In some ways, this attack now on judges, these attacks on judges, is a continuation of what he sees as a desire to get rid of people in the legal system who he feels are in opposition to him.
Okay, a couple more. Speaking of immigration, before we get to the book, Caroline Leavitt says they want migrants to self-deport. Here it is.
Administration abused to facilitate the mass illegal entry of illegal immigrants into our country. It was like a fast pass at Disneyland. That's not happening under this administration. We are encouraging illegal immigrants to actively self-deport to maybe save themselves from being in one of these fun videos. Sure. John, good to see you.
That's not the first time we've heard self-deport. I mean, and people kind of laugh at the idea of that. Alex.
No, and in fact, the White House is really highlighting what is being described as a self-deport app, an app that you can download on any app store, right? The same way you download any other app, and it will help someone in the country facilitate their deportation out of the White House. This is something that is being run through the DHS that Kristi Noem has talked about. The administration is highlighting self-deportation.
Oh boy. Okay, one more. And then I promise you I will get to the book. This one really is catching a lot of folks off guard, Alex, because Donald Trump pardoned the January 6th people, 15 to 1,600 people that a lot of people were outraged by, surprised in this country, even conservatives. They're saying that Biden's pardons are illegal and should be disregarded. Here it is.
The president was even consulted about his legally binding signature being signed onto documents. And so I think it's a question that everybody in this room should be looking into, because certainly that would propose perhaps criminal or illegal behavior if staff members were signing the president of the United States autograph without his consent.
Biden is on the record talking about issuing preemptive pardons to these people.
But was he aware of his signature being used on every single pardon? That's a question you should ask the Biden White House.
Is there any evidence on that he wasn't aware of it?
You're a reporter. You should find out.
Okay,
Sean.
so I have a question on the
Okay. Shouldn't she have the evidence, and shouldn't she be giving the evidence to the reporter? I'm just saying.
Here's the interesting thing that all your viewers and listeners need to be looking out for. And this is something that's been going on now ever since Trump took office, which is that he is keeping Joe Biden alive and in the conversation, right? You go back. I mean, the speeches that Trump gives, he's very often mentioning Joe Biden. Even in that confrontation with President Zelensky in the Oval Office a couple of weeks ago, Joe Biden was someone who came up repeatedly in that confrontation, right? So there is a broader strategy here that the White House is embracing, which is keep Biden alive in the headlines, in the news. So that way, if there is a downturn in the economy, if something happens, if there is some negative development, it could be blamed on Joe Biden.
Yeah. Just like they blame, as you said, they blame the stock market on him, the stock market going down, even though it happened after he imposed these tariffs, this tariff standoff that we have been dealing with. Okay, let's talk about revenge, the inside story of Trump's return to power. Is it out now?
It's going to be out at midnight. It's coming out tomorrow. The 18th.
You're kidding me. Congratulations. Okay, this book is juicy. I mean, I think Michael Wolff had better look out, because this is an amazing book. Trump's appeal and how he won. You talk about it in the book.
So one of the things that Trump really tapped into was this visceral sense of frustration among supporters, people in the middle of the country, blue collar workers, but also people who traditionally vote for Democrats. And he was able to siphon those voters away from Kamala Harris. Here's the interesting thing, though, which is that this is a story that Democrats want to look at, because if they want to figure out what went wrong, how to win the midterms, how to win in 2028, they're going to need to win these voters back, right? And what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to go to these voters and they're going to have to say, look, Donald Trump promised you that these policies would help you economically, they'd help you get back on your feet, but he hasn't done that to you. That's what Democrats are going to have to figure out how to do in the next 2 years, in 4 years' time when there's another presidential race. So looking back at what happened in this election, beyond the news that's come out in this book, is important, because there's a roadmap here for Democrats if they want to figure out a way to get back in power.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if you look at what happened in the election, Donald Trump was able to siphon off a small but meaningful number of voters, minority voters, Black voters. He was able to make inroads in urban areas. He was able to make inroads with lower income voters in a lot of cases, and he conveyed a message that he was someone who, like them, was besieged by elites in New York, in Washington, and Hollywood, and they identified with him. If you think about it, he took what happened on January 6th and he took what was a negative. And in some ways, he succeeded in turning it into a positive, right? He made himself look like a victim and he played the role of victim. And that portraying that image of a victim is something that very much bound and connected him, not just to his supporters, but other people in the country who feel disregarded and who feel like elites have aligned against them and have turned their backs on them. Yeah. And so Democrats, what they need to do is they need to figure out a way is, how do they win those supporters back? How do they win those people back?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the approval ratings, or not approval ratings, historic lows for Democrats. It just came out. And then there was Chuck Schumer's interview in the New York Times about why he, made the decision that he did about keeping the government open and voting for cloture. And Democrats are not happy with them. So they're going to have to do something and possibly change up some leadership. The book is called Revenge. That's the title of the book. So why is it called Revenge? How did it play out during the campaign? How is it playing out now?
Revenge is something that was a constant theme throughout Trump's campaign, throughout the 2 years he was out of office. It was something that he thought a lot about. The first thing that Trump did, even before he left office, was he plotted to ensure that Liz Cheney was unseated. When he was campaigning throughout the 2023 and 2024, he would joke to his aides in his plane. He would joke about how he would say ironically about how revenge would be a theme in his White House. He would joke about it ironically, knowing that it would be a theme in his White House. Mm-hmm. And so, sure enough, that during the opening weeks of Trump's presidency, payback has been a major focal point, especially as we just talked about, on judges, on people who prosecutors who were in charge of investigating him on January 6th. So he got revenge, not just on Joe Biden. He got revenge not just on people like Jack Smith, but he's now running a White House in which revenge is a central theme.
What is, you said it's the inside story. What makes it inside? Because there are a lot of Trump books. And so explain to the folks now, all these folks who are streaming. And again, we want as many people to be able to see Alex on this. So make sure you hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and become a member to the top of the chat. I have to say that we're streaming now, independent media. You got to do that, Alex. So what is so inside about this, and what makes this book different than all of the other Trump books and Palace Intrigue, etc.?
Sure. So I started reporting on this book in February 2023. Right when Trump was kicking off his comeback campaign. And we all knew it was going to be a dramatic and interesting campaign. Of course, it became even more dramatic and even more interesting than I think we all could have imagined. And my goal was to create sort of a fly on the wall book where readers could feel like they're in the room experiencing things as they happened. And so I did this by talking to people who were intimately involved in this campaign and having them sort of just give me a play-by-play of what goes on day by day. And I sort of just was their journal in some respects, keeping track of what happened. And then I wove that into a narrative, and I tried to do it in a way that was fair-minded, that let readers reach their own conclusions about what happened. And so I think that the reason why this book is important is because this was an historic election, and there were sources of mine who wanted to tell that story, who wanted to tell history and let people know, here's what happened. Here's what happened behind the scenes.
Oh boy. Alex, you've been a wonderful guest. So
thanks, man.
Congratulations. I can't wait for the book. Any parting words? Because I don't think you believe that, as I believe, that democracy is over, at least for now, but
Well, I'm a reporter, so I'm trying to, keep my, I try to just report on
I can tell by your answers, Alex. I've been doing this for a long time. Trust me. But it's different on this side for me as an independent journalist. I can lean in more because I think, honestly, I think what they're doing is ridiculous. I am outraged as an American, and now I'm not a Democrat nor Republican. I have to say that I'm an independent, but not following norms, defying federal judges, and just basically ignoring even the will of the American people in many ways. Because I believe a lot of his folks, when I go out and talk to them, they don't like that he calls himself a king. They don't like that he defies judges. They don't like that they're firing so many federal workers and that they're hurting people with the possibility of Medicare and Medicaid going away. And they don't like that they've taken some of these, incentives or safety nets away that the American people rely on, especially in red states where people voted for Donald Trump.
Well, and this is the question, right? I mean, these people voted for Donald Trump. The question now is he going to be able to govern in a way? Is he going to be able to govern in a way in which he can fulfill the promises that he made during the campaign? And that's the question. And that's what we're going to have to see happens. Now, there are going to be some people who are going to say no. There are going to be some people who might look at their wallets or their bank accounts after this and say the tariffs haven't really helped me, or they're going to say it has helped me. But that's going to be the question is, can Donald Trump govern in a way that he can fulfill his promises that he made during the campaign? That's going to be the question.
Alex Isenstadt, the book is called Revenge, the inside story of Trump's return to power. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you joining us. It's out at midnight, so you can go pre-order, go grab it at a bookstore tomorrow. Thank you. Be well. Okay, from Axios.
Thank you.
Check out Axios as well. Great reporting over there. Tell everyone we said hello. Okay, so there's Alex. Hello, fam. Now it's just us. And I don't want to do this stuff in front of Alex because I don't want him to be associated with it. But this is fucking crazy. This man, as it says, I've said, this is out of control. I can say this because I'm in independent media. But when you say my people don't have to come to court, even if you're a federal judge and you say we have to, what does that mean? You don't care. What does that mean? Democracy is over. What if you got subpoenaed, a judge told you, hey, you better show up to court, and you go, I don't have to do it. Don't need to. We are deciding. Not because the court usually decides like what's precedent, what's not, will rule on something and say, okay, you got to do this, you got to do that. They are ruling on it themselves and telling the judge, nah, no thanks. I don't give a shit. How do you feel about that? Look, even if you are, I got to be honest, even if you're a very staunch Trump supporter, you should be concerned about this because, it seems like just own liberals at all costs. And that's not good for the country and it's not good for democracy. I'm going to play something here that is interesting. That a Fox News reporter questioned the White House press secretary about. Now, let's hear this.
From France, who does not think the U.S. represents the values of the Statue of Liberty anymore. They want the statue something different. There is now a member of the European Parliament from France who does not think the U.S. represents the values of the Statue of Liberty anymore. They want the Statue of Liberty back. So is President Trump going to send the Statue of Liberty back to France?
Absolutely not. And my advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German right now. So they should be very grateful to our great country. Kelly.
Okay. Every single time she pulls me back in and I hate to keep saying how ignorant this woman is and how she has no sense of history. And why is she out there? Has she ever heard of the American Revolution? Facts are important. Understanding history is important. She doesn't understand that. Would America, we wouldn't even have a country if it wasn't for the French. If they hadn't provided supplies, arms, ammunition, uniform, uniform, most importantly, troops, naval support to the Continental Army. Thank you, France. You people have nerve to talk about DEI hires. This woman don't know shit. Yeah, I know that's bad English, but I'm telling you in a way so that you can understand. She is so ignorant of facts, and she is high on her own supply. As they say, you know when people that sit around and said, "Oh, what are you doing? You're sitting around smelling your own farts, huh?" We are just, without, and I want to remind them, without the USA, France would not even be France. Without France, the USA, America would not be America. We might not even be here. God, so stupid. Jesus. Hello, legends. Come on into the room. Let's let the family in. Hi, guys. Good to see you.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Don.
Ah, boy. Now, I want to play something for you. This is the soundbite that I'm going to play for you, and it's a little bit long, and this is going to kick the conversation off. We'll talk about this, and then we're going to talk about, I don't know if you guys saw my conversation with Bill Maher. I'm not sure about the MAGA folks. So here is Jessica Longwell over at the Bulwark having a conversation, I think it was on the CNN, about where we are with our democracy and if it is, in fact, the end of democracy. Roll it, and then we'll have our legends talk about it.
Look, I think for a lot of us who were really concerned and alarmed by a Trump second term, one of the things that we thought may very well happen is that Trump was going to set himself up to deny court orders or just ignore them. And the courts have become, in this moment, one of the last refuges of sort of being able to hold Trump either accountable or stop some of the things he's doing. He is going so fast to try to dismantle the government or implement his deportation policies that he's showing a lot of disregard for the law. And so the judges, whether they're, setting up injunctions or trying to slow him down, temporary restraining orders, like there's going to come a point, we always thought, where Trump might just say, I'm going to start ignoring these court orders. And one of the things that he's doing is trying to pick the most unsympathetic people to do this, right? People that a lot of people are going to be like, I don't care about deporting gang members. These are bad people. Now, we don't know exactly, we're not sure that they're gang members. We're just taking their word for it. But they do seem to be hitting the point now where they're trying to get by on a technicality, but it looks like they are starting to be at the point where they want to ignore what judges say, which once you get to that point, once you have a president who's just disregarding what judges say, you're in a totally lawless state. So
Okay, so a totally lawless state. I think Sarah Longwell put it quite concisely. A lawless state. Who wants to take a crack at it? Show of hands. Anybody want to take a crack at responding to that? Nobody wants to take a crack at it. Why? Are you guys just exhausted? What? Okay. Nicole, why are you doing that? Remember, guys, we don't have a ton of time today, so short answers, please. Why are you saying you still want to hear from her? You're overhearing from her.
Don, everybody here, everybody in this room, and probably the majority of the people who are in the chat are in agreement that at minimum, this is lawlessness. This is pushing towards some sort of anarchy, at least for them. And we know who the them is, they, where they can just do it whatever they want. They can pivot on a whim as the breeze blows. Whatever they want, they take. Whatever they don't like, they just declare illegal magically illegal. So so everyone here has that.
Sorry to cut you off. You got to be quick today. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, well, the issue at hand is not us. The issue at hand are the people who are supporting him still. That's the issue at hand. How long are they going to continue to be wind in his sails? Because it's going to take their turn.
Maureen, what do you say? Because I
Yes.
hear you wanting to jump in. And this is beyond that. I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah,
people are supporting it, but defying federal judges, that is that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunately what we kind of predicted, right? I mean, he's getting worse and worse, and freedoms are being taken away. I just have to share, talking to I told the group today before you came on, my 15-year-old nephew, great nephew, I just have to share this. We had a wonderful conversation with each other, and he's saying the very same thing all of us are saying. It's frightening. And he's becoming very much of an activist. It's good to see our young people like that. I'm so proud of him.
James,
Yeah.
you're usually outspoken about these things. What say you?
Well, I don't think it's any surprise. Everything stems back to your childhood. And he released hate on the country. Now this time everybody's gonna feel vindicated for any revenge or any beef they have against each other. And now it's the revenge tour. So we had the hate tour, now it's the revenge tour. And I say goes back to the childhood. It's like, his sister was a judge that he couldn't stand. They didn't get along. I don't remember if he even went to her funeral or not. One of the funerals he didn't go to when one of his siblings passed. I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
But, he's never had any respect for judges. He doesn't have respect for anybody.
Yeah.
So,
Anitra, I'm wondering how you
is...
feel. Oh, sorry. I thought you were finished. Just real quick.
No, go ahead.
Anitra, I'm wondering how you feel because you're usually outspoken on these things. All
so,
right.
Don, can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can't see you, but go for it.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Now I think I got it all now. So the biggest thing I'm seeing is that I don't know the answer. If he defies the order of the federal judges, who's going to stop him? What are they going to do? We don't have a precedent for this. And he's not going to stop until somebody says you have to, and there's some consequences. It's just like anything in life. It's consequence and reward, or you run into a wall. You know what I mean? So who's going to stop it?
Yeah.
We're done. It's done.
Camille, what is your concern level? And welcome.
It's pretty. Thank you. It's high, like everybody else, I'm sure. We shouldn't be surprised he's on a revenge tour. He was open about it. It's just some of us listened and some of us didn't. And I really wonder, is this the Lexington and Concord shot across, the moment?
Yeah.
To be honest. And I don't teach history, but I sort of do. And, this is just, Mussolini, Francisco Franco from Spain, Hitler, Caesar, Nero. They didn't have good outcomes, but I do know this is not sustainable. I think we can all agree on that. This is not sustainable for 4 years.
I think, Keisha, can you agree on that?
Absolutely. To Anitra's question about what do we do? Thank you. I read a Substack post from Mark Mansour this morning, who's an attorney, and he said that the backup plan could basically be the judges could deputize someone else to enforce their rule. So he suggests maybe like the DC chief of police, since they basically gutted all of the police for DC. So there's no precedent, but there is something legally that can be done if the courts have the gumption, I guess.
I guess. Kim Page, I've been saying it's the end of democracy. I don't want to influence you in any way, but what say you?
We're certainly heading in that direction. And hi, Don, by the way.
Hi,
we put a malignant narcissist in charge, and we gave that man unlimited power. So he is going to push it, and push it. And I'm wondering, will he at least stand up to the Supreme, or will he at least comply with the Supreme Court if he is not going to comply with the lower courts? I think that's going to be the big question. But I also agree this is not sustainable.
Yeah. Marley?
Ultimately, narcissists fail.
Yes.
Marley, is it sustainable? There's some folks who
No,
no way.
no, no, it's not. It's been less than 60 days, right? I am so
Yes,
exhausted.
it has been less than 60 days.
I cannot imagine going through this for 4 years. America's not going to look like America by that time. And what I'm particularly frustrated with, well, I say angry, is that the Democrats kept preaching and preaching that this is going to happen. They had the playbook. What were they doing this whole time? They didn't come up with a plan. They didn't come up with some way to, if they knew he would probably defy the judicial system. Well, we're here.
Yeah.
So I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. I don't know what to do. I got my passport ready though.
Made money, you have your passport ready?
I actually just got it in the mail maybe like 2 weeks ago. But
how appropriate for me to ask you this question then.
But yeah, no, so my concern, I'm already been past that, is just like when somebody is just running amok all over the government with no consequences, we got this madman just doing whatever. We already knew he wasn't going to listen to the courts. He didn't even listen to his own court cases, his own personal stuff. So like for us to be flabbergasted that he's not listening to the courts now is just beyond me. My frustration is he's not getting burnt by doing any of this stuff. He's not getting any. There are no consequences. We're the Democrats. We're just letting these people go crazy all over the government with literally no pushback. And so they're just gonna keep doing what they're doing because we're not doing anything. What's to stop them? So that's where we are. So, and yes, Marley, we do not have 4 years. I don't think we got 2 years to no midterms. Ain't gonna be no midterms messing with these people. So that's where I'm at.
Andrea, what say you? Do you think we don't have 4 years? Or you that everyone's like, we're gonna do it in the midterms. We're gonna do it in the midterms. What say you?
Well, I think from the very beginning, he said I could walk up to him and just kiss him or touch him or do whatever I want to. He's never listened. January 6th was a tour. Remember, he was touring. They were setting a tour guide, and he's never listened. When it's over international waters, come back. I'm not coming back. Why? I'm doing what I want to do. He has never listened, and he's going to continue to fight the system, and he's going to always call everyone else accountable except for himself.
Yeah. Marlene, you get to put a button on this for us. What say you?
Well, I say like everybody else, I believe, but I'm an angry Black woman right now.
All right.
This is some bullshit. I'm sorry. This is some bullshit. And everybody's right at what they said. We Democrats knew it was going to happen. They stood by. He was smart because he gutted every agency that he would need or that we would need to stop him. He got his people in there. So yeah. I'm angry because I think about my 8-year-old grandson and my other grandkids, and this is just straight up bullshit, Don. That's all I can say.
Yeah, David French put something up that I think I'm going to put on the screen. David French says anything Trump does immediately becomes popular, I think, which is
true.
Which is true. Who said that?
Andrea,
why?
Which is true. I say that because when he says something, the judges say, okay, Trump said that, that's law. I'm like, no, it's not.
He's already kept
Jim
his...
Biden says something, they just, oh no, Joe Biden says something, they like, no, Joe, you're not doing that. Just because you wrote it with the wrong pen.
I wanted to make sure, I don't mean to be rude, I want to make sure that everybody gets in because it's important, you guys, how do I say this? You invest with your hard-earned, resources. So I want to make sure that everyone gets a chance here. I know it won't be fair and equal all the time, but I appreciate it. Now, thank you for being brief and letting everybody get in. Now let's be more free-flowing. What were you saying, James? Why were you agreeing with Andrea?
Well, because he's already set up his base. He's already got his base calmed down. Don't worry about the price of eggs. Don't worry about the stock market. Don't worry about any of that. It's only going to be temporary. I have a plan. And when you talk to Republicans, a majority of them, at least the ones I talk to, they don't seem all that stressed out. Oh, it's going to work out. Oh, he's going to do it. Oh, and they're kind of tuned out. And I think the other side is just exhausted at this point. I think whoever just said it is right, that he has gutted all the agencies. He has gutted all the backstops. And Don, I hate to say it, but I think you're right. I mean, I don't see us coming out of this. I don't see midterms happening. And I see the media starting to lean in. I mean, some of the shows that I would watch, they're getting so soft and they're not even pushing back on the Republicans who come on their shows.
Can I tell you why? So 1 second.
They want their jobs.
Can we get the news soundbite from this weekend where Donald Trump, I'm sorry to do this to you, where he's talking about the media? We ran them this morning. And then do we have the full screen of him talking about, I think he has something up about the media. Do we have that from this morning or no?
Stand by. Let me track down.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sorry, who was saying something? I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted, because you were bringing up that subject.
Well,
no, I was just saying you watch the mainstream shows, and a lot of the folks that you would watch and you would have respect for are all, they've gotten very soft on all of the Republicans. It's not just Trump, it's the senators, congressmen, everybody who comes on the show. They're just letting them spew it, and they're not fact checking, and they're not challenging them. They're just kind of moving it along.
I wonder if they're concerned about this, and because of some shenanigans that may be going on behind the scenes with Trump. But this is what he says about newspapers and the like.
These networks and these newspapers are really no different than a highly paid political operative. And it has to stop. It has to be illegal. It's influencing judges, and it's really changing law, and it just cannot be legal. I don't believe it's legal. And they do it in total coordination with each other. And everything we do, we're restoring law, restoring order, and restoring public safety in America. That's what we want to do. And we're bringing honor and integrity and accountability back to the highest levels of the FBI, DOJ, and throughout our government.
Oh, my gosh. Nicole.
Oh, my God. I know that's funny.
Nicole, he is blaming the news media, but that's what he consumes. He doesn't read briefings. He's blaming that on judges, and he's going to use that to say these judges have become activists and they're being influenced. Therefore, it is illegal. These networks should be illegal. And perhaps, do you think that's why the folks aren't pushing back, as James said?
Absolutely. Everything that this man says, and I got to get this through, it's not for us, Don. We sit here and we roll our eyes and we get upset because we are intelligent and we read and we have critical thinking skills. Everything this man talks about is to continue to feed the same base that put him there. And they lap it up and it keeps them satiated. And that's why they will continue to put the high-priced gas in their car and buy the high-priced eggs and think that, oh, he'll work it out eventually, because they continue to mull over this echo chamber that he continues to spit, that there's this mass conspiracy to keep them as underdogs, and he's the only one who will protect them from all of it. It's not for us. That's why we're just like, what is this nonsense? And they continue. So the question on the table is, how long will they continue to believe it? And how long must we suffer on it? What are we going to do? Because clearly we don't have defenders.
I think you're right about that, but he is specifically, I think this is a window into his mind about the media and what is going on behind the scenes at the media and why the networks are afraid. And as James is saying, Jim is saying, and I get it. Yeah, it's for them, but it's also for the media.
But they believe the same. But they believe the same. If you speak to them, they believe the same.
This is not about his people. This one is not about his people. This one is, he is scaring the news organizations and trying to change the narrative and signaling what he's going to do today about the judges. He said the judges are being influenced by the news organizations. That's not for his base. That's for the news organizations, and that's for the news organizations.
Fair. And I do take that.
Yeah, okay, because he's saying they are not fair to me. Anybody want to respond?
Right.
Am I wrong?
What we're calling, I would like to.
Go ahead, man.
It's the Nitra.
Go ahead, Anitra.
What we are calling bullying is intimidation, it's threats. I was with some people I was out of the country over the week, and I met some people from the UK and different places, and I talked to them. Everybody feels the same way. He is a bully, but it's threats and it's criminal. But there is there are no fail safes. And people keep talking like the world is normal, and it is not.
We're heading towards censorship. The only news he wants to come is from the bimbo who goes to the podium in the White House. Just tell the lies that we want them to hear, and that's it. And that's what's going to happen.
Bimbo, I'm tough, but that's a bit harsh.
I think that sometimes. Oh,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I mean, sometimes I think we give him too much credit because it's just about attention and fear. And I think sometimes you have to put it in those simple perspectives. And sometimes, and I know this is a very naivete thought, Dawn, and I know, and I've worked in the entertainment industry, and obviously you have too. But man, I mean, it's just at one point I think the media has to come together and just, would it ever be a possibility to just stop reporting on him or not? You know what I mean? Or just be like, you know what, we're collectively not doing this anymore. And maybe it's just me hoping that would happen. But I mean, what can ever be the pushback?
They don't want their mergers and acquisitions and their business in DC disrupted and so they're afraid of being sued. Okay, there's a lot going on, and I will defend my journalist friends and former coworkers, and just in general, they're in a tough position, right? Because we all came up through the ranks saying you have to hold truth to power, and then now if you hold truth to power, you might get fired. And especially if you're at certain networks. This is one more thing that he said. Now he did this. This was, I don't know if this one was just sort of random. That's why, I'm pushing back on Camille and Nicole. I don't know if this one was random because he gave this speech at the Department of Justice, okay, over the weekend. One more thing that he said, I think that was even more direct. Here it is.
I believe that CNN and MSDNC, who literally write 97.6% bad about me, are political arms of the Democrat Party. And in my opinion, they're really corrupt and they're illegal. What they do is illegal. It makes no difference how big a victory I had. I can have the biggest victory in history. It makes
whatever his victory size should influence the way people write about him. Who is it? Who's raising their hand?
That was me.
Hang on, May Money. I just want one of the new people to get in, and then I will come to you. Who was raising their hands? The new person, is it Marley?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say he's attacking facts, and he's attacking the truth and the law.
Yeah.
And he just shot. Can I say that on YouTube? He just did a warning shot.
Pew pew.
And yeah, pew pew.
Yeah.
He just pew pewed them in the court, and I think the owners of CNN and MSNBC, they heard it, and they're gonna start changing how they report in a way that I feel is going to be straight out censorship, and just giving him a bigger platform to spread this propaganda.
Someone in the chat said the Midas Touch, they push back. The Midas Touch is an independent organization. We push back. We're an independent news and media organization. We don't have nearly, well, I shouldn't say that because, the ratings now, I think we might be doing better than them. But Keisha, I wanted to bring you in. Pardon me. What do you think? Here's also, Keisha, if there is just the minimal sort of pushback to the president or in the briefing room, people think it's some great thing when it's just the minimal. and then they pull back because they used to go at it in the briefing room and go at it with the president. And they were not afraid. What do you think?
I mean, first of all, I think he's a child. Who is still talking about, oh, I've got so high ratings. Like, who cares? And also what he says is projection. He says corrupt and illegal. You're talking about yourself. I think in this moment as reporters, this is a moment to stand for something. This is not the time to worry about your job. Like, I get it's hard. Our health insurance is tied to jobs, but like, we could lose our country. So I think people do need to push back.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Go ahead, May Money. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's all good. No, basically, I see a whole bunch of punk ass bitches when I know one when I see one, okay? And Donald Trump is a punk ass bitch. It doesn't take much to rattle this dude. I mean, talk about a crowd size and he completely unravels. Like you don't have to do much to really push back. You don't really have to do much of anything. So it's just and then the Democrats are acting like a whole bunch of punk ass bitches. And so everybody's afraid, and I don't even see what are we afraid of? I don't get why we're all just acting scary here. Like, the fear has almost like paralyzed everyone to the point where it just like we're just like unraveling as a whole, when it's just like, it just makes literally no sense to me. I think we need to just grow a pair here, guys, because these people are not hard. Like that Caroline, whatever her name is, she a punk ass bitch too. All that whole cabinet, they all are cowards by the end of the day.
Y'all are hard on her. Okay, so here's the thing. I want to play this because I wanted you guys to respond to it. And this is, I went on to Bill Maher's podcast. I don't know if you guys saw that. And I had a conversation. We talked about
you too close to the trash can.
A bunch of stuff, and Black MAGA. This is what I said, and the MAGA sphere lost its mind. Here it is.
Same thing that when I see not all black Republicans, but I see a black MAGA person who is carrying Donald Trump's water and they know that he's lying. It is the shortest line to the front. Because if you're black and you're whatever, you're just in line with a bunch of other Democrats that are doing the same thing that you're doing. But if you become a black MAGA person, it's like, whoa, let's book this person, let's put him on television.
So you don't think you can be a sincere black MAGA person?
No, I just said, I don't think that, I just said, I think there can be sincere Republicans.
But you can't be a sincere black Republican?
I don't think that you can be a rational MAGA, be black and be a rational MAGA person. I think you can be black and be a Republican.
I think they would find that very insulting.
Well, I mean, the truth is often insulting.
I mean, was I wrong? You guys can let me have it if you think I was wrong. Go. You have the floor.
No, you're not wrong, Don. The truth is the truth. And, it was hard to hear from the person who was interviewing you, but she came right back. You did it. You did it again.
Yeah. Anybody else care to weigh in on that particular subject?
You're spot on. I mean, it's just pathetic to watch some of these people who they're so against, who will just rise to the occasion. I'm talking about the politicians now too, more so than the MAGA. I mean, who was it? The Scott? What was his first name? Scott, who was just
Tim Scott.
Tim Scott. Yeah, how he just went, turned himself into a pretzel to cater to Donald Trump. And, Donald Trump supports nothing about the black community or Tim Scott or whatever his name was, Rick Scott.
Yeah. One more that I want to put up. That you guys have one. Is this a longer version, or there's the SNL version as well, right? Let's do the SNL.
Your opinion on this. Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary show. They did one thing, they did a sketch where Tom Hanks puts on a MAGA hat. So he's a Trumper. And then Keenan comes over to shake his hand and he won't shake his hand.
Yeah.
And I said this on Fareed's show the other day. I found that's so old. I didn't vote for him. I get all the bad things about that administration, but if you think they don't shake black people's hands, it's just you're wrong. That's not who they are. Matt Gaetz shakes black people's hands. You know, Kid Rock will shake your hand. It's just not helpful to like think that half the country that's where they are. That's your
Still, you're a comedian. You know, it's part of its comedy.
I understand.
But let's be honest. There's a huge faction of the MAGA movement that's really fucking racist.
I wouldn't say huge. No, I'd say
I would say huge.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we have different perspectives.
I would say huge, and even if they're not, you have to overlook a lot of that in order to support Donald Trump, which I think is maybe even more egregious than just saying I'm a racist.
Okay.
You said what you said, Don.
Okay, let me just put this
up.
When he said that, you know, they'll shake hands. Does anybody remember this was just a couple of months ago? Watch.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's important. Thank you. It means the world. Good. Great to see you.
This is my husband, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce, how are you, man? Good. Great to see you. They're going to have the Bible holder stand right in the middle. Okay. And what you're going to do is hold it up with your left hand. Raise the right hand. All right. Do you solemnly swear you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that you bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you're about to enter, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I hope
Thank
you
you
do
so
as
much.
much as I did.
Oh, yes.
I really do.
Yes.
It was a great pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
We have some family here. This is my mother.
Mom, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Here we go. No, oh no. Oh no, it's just a handshake. Yeah, it's just a handshake. Yeah, all right. You welcome in Black Devil anytime.
Oh well, all right. Well, I mean,
one of my favorite characters.
Last time I checked, though, Joe Biden was a liberal. I mean, I don't know what's the difference between Joe Biden and Mike Pence and Kamala Harris. I don't know. Can somebody tell me?
Training.
Is Bill
It's
Maher
two things.
Is Bill Maher still dating black women? Because I don't understand how he can have this perspective if he is with people who are actually suffering because of the person who's in office. Like, what kind of cognitive dissonance is going on with him?
He's really come. I was a big member. I mean, a big watcher of him, and he's really starting to soften up little by little. And I don't know what that's about, but I feel like he's getting a little out of touch, and I think it's his age. I really do. His age and the fact that he has no need to want. If something goes wrong, I'm not saying he's got all the money, but he's got enough, and so it doesn't matter. And if you don't mind, it don't matter. Get a few black people and some brown people and some criminals out your way any way you want to, but it's coming to the door. And when it comes to the door, they're going to find out what's over there is over here.
Yeah. All right, legends. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for joining this evening. I love you guys. Look, we have more legends joining, and the more that we're going to have to start doing a longer show so that everybody can get in more often, because I really appreciate you guys. And so I think we're going to have to do an hour and a half when we have the legends back on again. But I got to get out of here because it's just an hour, and we have so much to do, because guess what tomorrow is? It's our 1-year anniversary, and we have something special prepared for you. So guys, make sure you support us, okay? Thank you to our legends. Our legends, this is the highest tier of our membership. They get to be on the show, and we go back and forth. And I love it. I love agreeing and disagreeing, and I think you should have conversations. And maybe Gavin Newsom can learn from us, that we can disagree and you know, hold each other accountable. So thank you all for being legends. I really appreciate it. And I will see you soon. We have our legends evening Thursday, okay? Our legend and our lemon heads on Thursday. So thank you so much, okay? I'll see you guys soon. Have a great evening. Be safe. Bye, legends. Okay.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you guys. Okay, so look, if you become a lemon legend, you get to be on the screen and on the show just like that. That again, that's the highest tier. So make sure you become a member. The membership link is at the top of the chat, and they're also different levels of membership, and it's very reasonable. Make sure you like, make sure you hit the thumbs up, make sure you follow us on social media. And if you're watching live on TikTok, hit the hearts, TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. And you should know, if you want the big show, the full frontal show where you get to see all the clips and your comments get on the screen and they get prioritized if you're a member, and we read them whenever we don't have such a big show. And even when we do sometimes. So make sure you become a member, like and subscribe. And thank you for your support. It is of urgency that you support independent media, because you see what Donald Trump just said about the big networks, and they might be scared. So you'll get the truth here. All right, everyone, our 1-year anniversary tomorrow. Make us proud. Okay, guys, I'll see you later. And as I say, every time I leave, turn this TV off. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support.